All right, so fresh out the box is my new Tombstone for the 1990 Miata. Looks great, and this is a brand new one from Mas Miata, not some old one off eBay that'll be brittle. And it came in a box, within a box, and it was even wrapped up in this plastic. And the box was very well secured, so it didn't get damaged during transport. Here is the old one with the broken off piece that we took off in the last video. And if you look at the back, here is all the hardware bits, including these clips. And the new one, thankfully, has all new hardware bits on the back. And you have a new clip here, a new clip over here. The only thing is, it didn't come with a clip on the bottom. And there, you see, you have the squares take the clips, 1 and 2 on either side, which it comes with, but it doesn't come with one on the bottom. But that's okay, because my old piece, I can just remove the clip, and I already popped out the one side. You just take a flathead screwdriver, you get it on either side, and just pop it right out, and I can just drop it right in to the new holes, and we're good to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to get this thing into the car just like that. Okay, so I got the new clip started. Doesn't want to go down in all the way, and I don't want to force it because I of course don't want to crack the new plastic Tombstone. Another thing is, you might have your clip with the piece of plastic broken off, still hanging off, so get that out. Get any remaining plastic bits here and here, pull them out, because you don't want anything stuck in the way when you try to go put the new one in. If you don't realize, you'd be trying to force the Tombstone back on if it's not sitting flush all the way around. Also, before you put the Tombstone in, you're going to want to take your hazard and fog light piece, let me wipe it off real quick, and then reattach it to your 2 mounting points right here. Make sure the hazard light is on through the top hole and not the bottom, otherwise you have it upside down. Okay, so we reattached the little module with the hazard and pop-up headlight buttons. And you think it'd be simple, but this is very nerve-wracking. Be very careful, anybody doing this, because the old ones, as you can see, just the plastic holes, and they already are tapped, the holes for those little screws. The new Tombstone, these are not tapped. You have to get this screw started straight and true and keep it straight and true. Otherwise, when you're using these self-tapping screws to cut threads into the new plastic mounting holes, they have a little bit of extra material on the sides, but just be very careful. If you put too much torque, you're gonna snap those plastic receivers right off. So please tap straight and true, and don't go any more than you have to. I was just holding pressure. I was even like taking my other hand and holding the body of the hole that I was tapping into, because it was starting to flex on me. But thankfully I got it tight, and I don't want to mess with that anymore, because you know, you're trying to tap threads into plastic. They should have already come tapped, so I don't like that about this new setup here. But other than that, everything should go back pretty good. The only thing I have to do as well is this piece sits below the radio head unit, and it looks like I got a screw on either side, and I believe I have to attach it to maybe the lower mounting holes, or maybe the ones in the middle. So I'm gonna, it says on the back, it says this side up, and if this is the back of the Tombstone, I believe it's gonna go like this. So the old broken connections, I'll just take those plastic bits off, and it looks like I'm gonna have to self-tap into these just drilled out holes. They're not tapped or anything. So again, I'm gonna be very careful and not go any more than I need to. So be very careful with your new plastic Tombstone. And thankfully she goes in with not much issue, just carefully pushing on the sides a little bit, pushing on the bottom right here, and the whole thing is in nice and flush all the way around. And again, be very careful, those 4 screws, you gotta self-tap into the new piece. And then there was a piece sticking out from behind the Tombstone, and it just lines up this hole in the new Tombstone. You put your screw back in that I took out at the beginning of the last video. And yeah, everything's good to go. I'm gonna put my center console piece back on. Well, actually, before I do that, I'll put my 2 screws back in here, one up here and one up in there. Pop my vents back in, and this thing should be good to go. So yeah, again, please just be very, very careful if you get a plastic one. You can get a stainless one off Miata, but I like the, like I said, I like the OEM look of the black plastic one. Okay, my 2 screws in here are in. The screw right down here I put in. That was already tapped because that was the old receiver coming out. I put my center console piece back in, plugged my sensor in, put this screw in, this screw back in, this screw back in, these 2 screws back in, and got my lever popping out of here, all good to go. I'll screw my shift knob back on. I'm just gonna give it a little wipe down on this area, especially down in here. It hasn't been wiped out in a while. Same with the center console area. And that should be about it. So again, just be very, very careful doing this job, and then you should be good. I'll get my shift knob twisted on, and we will get the H pattern pointed in the right direction. How's that? And you don't have to go crazy tight on this, because eventually you might have to remove it, so why not just kind of get it kind of snug? It'll be just fine. You can get a little bit more tight, but it doesn't have to be crazy tight. And the vents, line up your, let's see, if you look inside, these little tabs are going to go in these recesses, so you could just pop them in. And plus you have these tabs, one here and one here, going into these recesses on the side. So that should help you line it up further. And just a simple pop and go. Good to go. Click them in. Always love a satisfying click. Let's go for 2. There we go. Perfect. I like it. So that has been the Tombstone, new Tombstone from Miata. And I would say I recommend getting a new one, because any old one you could find is going to be so brittle on the plastic. And the new one it's going to be plastic. It's not going to be the strongest, but it's at least going to be new. You'll have your best shot at when you're reinstalling it to not break anything. So good luck to you on your Tombstone install, and I hope you had as good as luck as I did. Just being careful, taking it slow and steady.